You need to pay attention when you watch it.
Oh shit, here we go again.
It's the dumbest. I've said a lot of things have been the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my time. I realize that being angry vlog car man is now what I've become, and that is not a great aesthetic to keep up. But you know, it's just how it has to be at this point. So I was listening to Arizona sports radio because I like sports and I like listening to them and talk. They bring up the Game of Thrones premiere, which is how I'm gonna get away with Game of Thrones clickbaiting this. And one of the guys who's in the studio is like, "Oh, you should. When Game of Thrones is one of those shows you have to pay attention to whenever you watch." And it upsets me for two reasons. It's first that Game of Thrones is mainstream garbage that you don't need to like know the deep lore of in order to get. It ain't that deep. Secondarily, what really pisses me off about this is the statement you have to pay attention whenever you watch it. This is something that I've been seeing increasingly in my study as a film student and as a media critic, is that people are like, oh, this show is more complex, it's more interesting than other shows, you can't just turn your brain off whenever you watch it. That's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. You can absolutely turn your brain off whenever you watch something, whenever you watch anything, and you'll still enjoy it. But if you want to get the maximum enjoyment out of anything that you're watching or consuming, you have to pay attention to it. So saying that a show is something that you have to pay attention to is irrelevant to me. It means nothing. It is a meaningless statement to be like, oh, you have to pay attention to the show whenever you watch it. Of course you fucking do. Of course you have to pay attention to the thing that you're watching. You can't just like turn on any TV show. You can't turn on any TV show or movie and be like doing a secondary task while watching it and expect to get the full enjoyment out of it. That's like so I rewatched Madoka the other day being yesterday, and I'm on Discord live texting with a friend of mine while I'm watching it. And because it's cool, it's something that I want to experience, together, because it's something that both of us really enjoy. But I will admit that there is an element to whenever it gets a little bit slower that I wasn't able to get as entrenched into it. So whenever it gets a little bit slower and my attention wanes a bit during the show, I've got my second monitor and I just type a couple of things in Discord that I'm reacting to from the last couple of scenes, and it is a little bit immersion breaking. So even with something as celebrated and awesome as Madoka is, if you are not fully paying attention to it, you are going to miss some element of enjoyment from it. Like, some people will be on their phones while they watch something, or they'll be talking to people and they'll be like, "Oh, I enjoy it this way." You're like, okay, sure, that's how you enjoy it. But I don't think you're getting everything out of it. Like, there's a certain extent to which you cannot totally gain everything from a work whenever you're not giving your full attention to it. And that's, whenever people are like, "Oh, I'm not just gonna just," and you give something that credence, like that gravity. You can assign it to certain things, so people can be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be on my phone while we're watching this TV show because I don't care that much about it." Well, you're gonna get into it, or you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. If you're not caring all that much about it, you're just on your phone, there's probably not much chance that things gonna be memorable, regardless of how good it is or how much it jives with your sensibility. If you're not, oh fuck. I'm going to keep going. If you're not interested in it at a base level already, you're not going to become interested in it if you're not paying attention during it. And that's the fatal flaw with most of the discussion of these shows. Like Game of Thrones, I'm sure it's cool. I'm sure it's great. It's fantastic. I'm sure that the 7.7 million people who follow the Twitter account do so for good reason. But no, okay? It's just not. Most American television is not my thing. And I realize I'm committing marketing suicide by talking about this whenever my goal in life currently is to pitch a television show to an American studio. So if they ever watch this video, I'm self-aware of it, believe me. I can criticize the medium while still working inside of it, okay? Because I'm trying to better it, alright? I'm not saying Game of Thrones is garbage. I'm not saying that you're like a moron for watching it, because there are cool like dragons and like war politics. You know, that stuff was. If Game of Thrones was an anime, I'd probably watch it. You know, like if it was structured in that way, if the story was told in that way, and it was animated in that way, I would probably watch Game of Thrones. And I'd probably be a decently big fan of it. But the fact that the episodes are an hour long, the fact that it's such that it has this stigma to it, this idea that if you are somebody who is a fan of Game of Thrones, that you are just mired in the mainstream, which I realize I help perpetuate, and you know I'm not totally opposed to that. I don't totally think it's untrue. I just am not willing to get into that. Also, like we're 8 seasons in or something like that. I mean that's like what, like 10 episodes a season. Even at like 10 episodes a season, you're looking at 70 hours of your life that you're never going to get back. And then there are these people that say you have to watch it 2 or 3 times. How do you people find the time to do this? How have you people been like, I'm going to watch 70 hours of Game of Thrones, but checking out, I don't know, any anime past Dragon Ball Z and Naruto is just too much of a time commitment. Like I'm going to stick with Naruto, my 350 fucking episodes of Naruto, because checking out Neon Genesis Evangelion is just too much of my time down the drain. I mean, 26 episodes plus 4 movies. I mean, that's just too much, man. I'm just gonna go back and rewatch the Shinobi War or the Great Shinobi Fourth War arc or whatever. That's like 100 fucking episodes long, and I'm not even gonna care. Why would you watch things that are bad or that are mediocre when you could watch things that are good? I don't get it. I don't get it.